Hello, my friends. I am Coach Lucy Morris. I am owner of New England School of Archery and Supplies, and I also have a blog. The blog is theflyingarcher.com. You can check that out for videos, podcasts, and more. And today I'm going to talk about the power of games. And I'm also going to share with you a game. And I'm going to give you a bonus tip about archery that my archery coach, Marsha Wyman, shared with me a few years ago. And how I selected the game to talk with you today is I had my archery instructors who were in my classes this summer create their own games. They had to do it. It had to be safe, had to be fun, and also teach a skill set. Now, I've never done this before, and the reason why I decided to do this summer was when I was at the American Camp Association New England conference last spring. A lot of the camp directors came up to me and they asked me for some new games for their campers. And I thought a great way to create some games other than the ones that I already teach people were to have the archery instructors create their own games, also help them with team building and working together. And what I did was I videotaped their presentation when they shared their games with us. Now, we didn't actually go live and actually shoot their games. We didn't have enough time to do that. And what I'd done is I called 100 of those instructors and I asked them, what was your favorite game this summer? It could have been a game that I taught or a game that they created. And they came back with basically 4 games. And today I picked one of them to share with you. And that game is called Save the Dragon. Now I have a strange looking target face here, meaning its size is actually kind of wrong, but that's okay. And I realized when I was getting ready for this live broadcast is that they have left out the line for the white. You're supposed to have a white too. Now, to play Save the Dragon, you go on a journey, and to do your journey is you want to save the dragon. The dragon is in the center in the yellow. You start out with going through the snowstorm, the dead of night, the ocean, the fire, and into the sun. You want to go in that order. If you end up, say, hitting on the line, it counts for both colors. Oh, you can't see. End up hitting on a line. There, you can see my hand now. It counts for both colors. So again, you want to go snowstorm, dead of night, ocean, fire, sun. So if you hit between the white and the black, between the snowstorm and the dead of night, then you get both of those colors. And then the next one, you could go here. You have the ocean and the fire. And the next one is into the sun. I have my students use 3 arrows, so it is possible for the students to get all the way in with 3 arrows. It's really fun when you say this to them. They're like, oh, no, I can do that. And some of the students are like, oh, yeah, I think I can do that. They also start creating their own thoughts about what the different colors mean. I've had people say, the dead of night, it's the black night, or this is the sky, and this is the volcano something or other. It gets really fun and interactive talking to students about this. I also teach this with my adult students, and they have fun too, which is really interesting. It's really cool to see adults having enjoyment playing the game. If I want to slow down a class. They have been doing a lot of shooting, and I want them to not be shooting as much. What I sometimes do is I have them play Save the Dragon as teams. Now the first person flies, puts an arrow in the snowstorm, and then on their own target, and then the next person is going for the dead of night. Well, let's say that your partner misses the dead of night. That means then the first person that's shooting goes for the dead of night. And you continue on until you run out of arrows. You have 6 arrows. And you alternate back and forth. One person shoots one arrow, another person shoots another arrow. If you have separate targets, then they should be shooting at their own target. It's a safety thing. I tend to teach this game before I actually teach them scoring. Not generally in the same class. That allows the student to get used to shooting at the target itself before we start scoring. What I do teach first, a couple of lessons before we actually get to Save the Dragon, is I teach my students how to aim. Because this is actually an aiming game. They have to, when you're coming up. So you're going for the snowstorm, which is way down here, and then you have to move your aim point up to go to the dead of night, and then you have to move your aim point again to go to your ocean, and then move your aim point again to go to the fire. I don't get into that much detail with them at this part, but that's actually what they're doing, is they're practicing moving, understanding their aim point and where the arrow will go. Now teaching can be a lot of fun. You can use different tools to help teach a skill set. I use gigantic scorecards to teach aiming. I have a blank target, nothing on here. I put the card up, and then I teach my aiming game with them. You could be creative. You could go and get paper plates and have them draw their favorite food, and you'll find out, if they don't like their brother or something. No. You have to put your favorite food. And I love picking on them. Sometimes they're like, yeah, make asparagus or Brussels sprouts. I'm like, ooh. What I teach them, and I talk to them about, is I want them to focus on their shot process. Is sometimes people's shots are all over the place, and I'm like, okay, so let's think about what you just did that brought the arrow over here, or like over in the wrong spot. All right, now you've thought about that. Now how can we correct that? That's what I want you to think about, is that form, piece of that form that you want to use to shoot, to make that correction. Rather than beat yourself up over it, look around and think, oh, so-and-so is gonna think whatever of me because I didn't hit the arrow where I wanted it to be able to get those thoughts out of your mind, because you can only have one thought at a time. What you do is you just use your form. Oh, okay, so I'm aiming. What am I doing? I'm a more advanced student. Oh, yeah, it was my anchor. My anchor was off a little bit. Okay, let's just readjust that. Okay, so that's what I'm focusing on the next time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a video of all the games that my instructor candidates created this past summer. When they gave their presentation on the games that they created, I videotaped them. Again, I called about 100 of them. They had to come up with a game that was safe, that taught a skill set, and that the student would have fun. Now some of them are a little interesting, but I'm going to put those in too to allow you to look at, oh, how can I expand on that and make that a little bit better? Or hey, that's an interesting idea for a game. I think I'm going to try that. That that will be out in January of 2016, in just a couple months from now. Now I'm going to tell you an ancient archery tip that you may or may not know about. Well, the person that told me about this was Marsha Wyman, who's one of my coaches, and she said that there are a lot of health benefits to archery. I'm not going to get into all of them, but one of them was they used to prescribe archery for chest colds because every time you come up and what you're doing is you're actually expanding your chest and you're opening up your chest. Now, I'm not quite sure that that's what I'd want to do when I'm coughing with a cold, but I haven't really tried it, and maybe it would really work. It's very very good to archery is very good to do because we tend to be hunched, typing. Let's see, where can you see me? On the keyboard, driving a car, reading. And archery, you have to have your shoulders down, and you go back, you're expanding your chest, which is just really healthy to do. It's much better. It helps you get your body aligned after sitting all day like this, or after sitting like that for a few hours. So what I would invite you to do is to come to my website, my blog, which is theflyingarcher.com, and subscribe. I will be having interesting, cool things that are going on beyond what I'm doing right now. I have podcasts, videos, written things. It's just totally having a lot of fun with it, and I want to share it with all of you. And thank you for listening and being a part of this live YouTube session. Or is it? Yeah, it's YouTube. It's Google Hangout. And this is Coach Lucy from theflyingarcher.com, owner of New England School of Archery and Supplies, and have a wonderful day.